Hello, fans of all ages. We are indeed the Beasts of the East. Ryan Mork and Scott Thompson coming to you live from Studio A here at Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey on this October 5th, 2015. October 5th.
You got a lot better at it. You haven't done Ryan and Mork in a while.
Ryan and Mork is ridiculous. Ryan and Mork was bad.
Yes.
So, thank you for tuning in. Beasts of the East on WRPR 90.3 FM, Ramapo College Radio. Big day tomorrow as the New York Yankees clinched home field in the American League wildcard game yesterday with the Houston Astros loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks. But now the bad news is that CC Sabathia has decided to take a leave of absence for the remainder of the season, whatever is left of it, and he will not pitch in the postseason as he has decided to better himself, and he is deciding to go into an alcoholic rehabilitation center. Let me read you the statement he released earlier today. He said, quote, "Today I am checking myself into an alcohol rehabilitation center to receive the professional care and assistance needed to treat my disease. I love baseball and I love my teammates like brothers, and I am also fully aware that I am leaving at a time when we should all be coming together for one last push toward the World Series. It hurts me deeply to do this now, but I owe it to myself and to my family to get myself right. I want to take control of my disease, and I want to be a better man, father, and player. I want to thank the New York Yankees organization for their encouragement and understanding. Their support gives me strength and has allowed me to move forward with this decision with a clear mind. As difficult as this decision is to share publicly, I don't want to run and hide, but for now, please respect my family's need for privacy as we work through this challenge together. Being an adult means being accountable. Being a baseball player means that others look up to you. I want my kids and others who may have become fans of mine over the years to know that I am not too big of a man to ask for help. I want to hold my head up high, have a full heart, and be the type of person, again, that I can be proud of. And that's exactly what I am going to do. I am looking forward to being out on the field with my team next season, playing the game that brings me so much happiness." So, the night before the postseason starts, very bad news from the New York Yankees and CC Sabathia, but you know what? You have to applaud the guy for coming out and saying to Cashman and Girardi, look, I have a problem. And some people are going to say, you couldn't wait one more month. You can't wait one more month because this is real life. Real life comes ahead of the game of baseball. And whether the season ends tomorrow night or whether the season ends on November 4th, Game 7 of the World Series, I think CC Sabathia is doing the right thing by fixing himself and fixing his family. Family comes first.
Exactly. Family comes first. And he checked himself into rehab.
Yep.
You know, that's the first step in accepting that you have a problem, that you want to fix it. He wants to be a better father. My grandfather was a known alcoholic. He almost lost his family, but he checked himself into rehab, and since then he was the greatest father and grandfather that I could ever think of. So not even looking at baseball, looking at him from just being a man standpoint, that is being a man right there and stepping up and saying, listen, I have to get better, I have to do better for my family. And also I love how he added his players in there. Yep. He considers them his second family. So this is honestly amazing on the point. Obviously, it's bad timing, but you know what? Timing with this, you can't mess with it.
Yep.
So if he wanted to go in now, let him go in now. Let him fix himself. Let him be ready for the next season.
Going back to what you said, the players are his family. They see their players more than their own families. And speaking of families, CC Sabathia is a family man. He has two great kids that my cousins, they go to the same day camp as them, the Ramapo day camp. Ironic, but
it is ironic.
It's not the Ramapo College day camp or anything, but the Ramapo day camp. My uncle is a counselor there. My kids hang out with CC's kids. My uncle's taught to CC a lot of times. Very nice guy, and we know that he's been in tabloids for a little while over the weeks. He's struggling, so I'm not going to jump into conclusions as to why he got into this problem. He said he has a disease, and some people say that they don't believe in alcohol addiction, which is Ridiculous.
Absolutely false. For anyone that says that, I have witnessed substance abuse, alcohol abuse in my life, in my short life, and it is a disease. It is a disease as much as you want to try to go against that.
Plain and simple. And again, you got to give a lot of credit to CC Sabathia. A very tough time because tomorrow night is their season. Tomorrow night is their season, and we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. But really quickly, if you are blaming CC for timing, why couldn't you get this checked out during the regular season? Why this? Why that? Because when you have a problem like this, it's very hard to admit right away. Who knows how long this has been going on for?
It eats you up. It eats you up. Absolutely. You don't want to sit back and say, "Oh, well, we're going to the playoffs." No, you have to look at it from a family standpoint, from your own mindset, what you want to do. You can't be looking and try to please everybody else. He's pleasing himself right now, and now is the right time, and that's what he wants to do.
The fact is that real life is more important than baseball.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But now let's look at it from a baseball perspective, because I don't want to harp on CC too much, but at the end of the day, it is a baseball story. It is a sports story. This is going to affect the New York Yankees because CC Sabathia has probably been their best pitcher.
He's been great.
And since he came off the DL with the second knee injury, he's been unbelievable. So how does this hurt the Yankee rotation? Well, people were saying it was doubtful that he was going to be in the rotation. I disagree. I think he was going to be in the rotation.
I thought he was going to be number 4.
Probably. Tanaka, Pineda, Severino are going to be the 2-3, and then CC. Now you don't have a 4 pitcher. You have 3 guys. And the question is, what are they going to do with Adam Warren? Where's Nathan Eovaldi in this situation? Do you try to bring back Brian Mitchell into the rotation? Because what they used to do, their quote-unquote 6-man rotation was Adam Warren / Brian Mitchell, each throwing 50 or 60 pitches. So do you try to do that? Do you stay with a 3-man rotation? With CC leaving, because he was a starter. CC Sabathia is not a bullpen guy. He was not going to go into the bullpen. So how does this affect the Yankee rotation?
How does it affect the rotation? Honestly, it's hard to look at it. I honestly want to go with like a 3-man rotation.
You have to now you have to think about it.
Now you really have to think about it. Is Eovaldi in the bullpen right now?
I don't think they've had a word on Nathan Eovaldi in a little while.
Exactly.
If he comes back, it is soon, because he wasn't missing the entire season. He was gonna come back sometime during the postseason. Actually, NJ.com just said just under an hour ago they released an article that says that Yankees starter Nathan Eovaldi says, "quote I'm ready to go." So okay. I'm going to read the article. Yankees starter Nathan Eovaldi, out since September 7th with inflammation in his pitching elbow, says he would be ready to pitch in the division series if his team makes it that far. They're hosting the Astros, blah, blah, blah. I threw maybe 10 pitches in the bullpen, then 15 or 20 out there on the mound just to get righty and lefty. Eovaldi said everything felt good.
So then you really have to think about now, if you want to pitch Tanaka. Oh, wait.
Tanaka's throwing
Tanaka's throwing tomorrow, sorry. So what does that mean? That means Pineda will pitch.
Pineda or Severino will throw Game 2 on Thursday, if they win, obviously.
Okay. So I liked Eovaldi because he put up a lot of runs. I mean, the Yankees put up runs for him.
Right.
And he had a good win percentage. I think he was...
Mm-hmm.
He had
14-3 before he went down with an injury. And his ERA is high. It was like a 4.2 or something like that. But since in his last 13 starts before going down with the injury, since that awful start against Miami where he let up 9 runs in the first inning, his ERA since then was under 3 before he got hurt. He's becoming into a very solid pitcher for this Yankee team.
Absolutely. He throws strikes, and that's what I love about him, that power fastball. He can throw for strikes and spot the corners. So that's why... Cashman and Girardi, they all have to sit down and say, do you want to throw 3 or 4?
Yep, exactly. So, Ryan Morik and Scott Thompson here with you on WRPR 90.3 FM. In about 5 minutes, we're going to have a Yankee expert on the air. Chris Sheeran from the Yes Network will be on the show in about 5 minutes. So you'll hear a lot of his personal feelings on CC Sabathia and how the game is going to look tomorrow. Let's get into tomorrow night's game. 8 o'clock at the stadium, thank God, because the Yankees were in the best situation, and then they put themselves in the worst situation, because the last thing they wanted to do was have a meaningful game 162. and they found themselves in that. Girardi said, I want health over home field advantage. But the thing is, sure, they have a day off today, and they don't play until 8 o'clock tomorrow night, but he was not able to rest a lot of his players yesterday, and that was one of the worst things that could happen to this Yankee team.
The Astros are kicking themselves right now. 15-0, Dallas Keuchel is at home.
Yep.
15-0. So the Yankees are jumping with joy. The Astros basically lost that home field advantage with that loss yesterday. So it's definitely going to be a pitcher's duel tomorrow in the Bronx. Dallas Keuchel dominated the Yankees in his appearance against them. I think he went. Did he go a complete game?
I don't think so. I think through 16 innings of like maybe 2 runs.
Yeah, he owned the Yankees in both of his starts against them. So I don't know. I'm actually really looking forward. Me and Ryan are going to go tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to how the Yankees really take this game right now.
And I think home field is very important in this game because it was either the Yankees, who haven't been in the postseason since 2012, and the Astros, who haven't been in the postseason since 2005. 10 years for the Astros, 3 years for the Yankees, but for Yankee fans, 3 years feels like 10 years. And the Astros are 2 seasons out of losing 111 games. And the Astros, look at their lineup. They have Carlos Gomez, Jose Altuve, Evan Gattis, Chris Carter, Keuchel, we all know. You have a very good team. And George Springer.
Oh, yeah, what I don't like is that I'm looking at their stats against Tanaka right now. Your key guys, Altuve, Carlos Gomez, George Springer, all have hits against Tanaka. Chris Carter and Carlos Gomez have not gotten a hit against Tanaka. So they definitely have his number as of now. We really need to see Tanaka step up tomorrow night.
But the thing is, I believe Tanaka will step up because he knows how to pitch in big-time games. And actually, we have Chris Sheeran on the line right now. Chris, it's Ryan and Scott. Thanks a lot for coming on. What's going on?
Wow, no wait, just right on the air? What's going on with you guys?
Well, you're the only caller so far.
We were too excited. We needed to bring you on real quick.
I know the feeling from my college days, boys. I know it very well.
Well, speaking of your college days, what has your career been like from your days in college to today, Chris?
Oof, that is a long and detailed answer that I will have to give you the short version, like the Spaceballs short version. So here we go. I went to Rowan University. I was accepted when it was still Glassboro State College. It's in Glassboro, New Jersey. Traditionally, it's a teacher's school, hence our awful nickname. And I'm sorry, Rowan, but the professors have to be updated.
The profs.
Pretty much the worst nickname in college, in my opinion. I love the school. I love my professors, but the nickname is it's hideous. Anyway, as I was saying about my professors, they really got me ready to get out into the field. Tremendous radio, TV, and film program down there. The television and radio is what I really focused in on. I had a radio show like you guys. I had a morning show. I had a sports show. I did play-by-play for basketball and baseball. The morning show was 5 days a week. I was at the station turning the transmitter on at 7 o'clock. You learn responsibility. You learn about working in pretty much a newsroom. The general manager who ran it, Frank Hogan, a great human being. He just retired recently, and it's good for him. He's worked enough. He deserves it. But he was very integral in getting me where my head needed to be. Another guy, Ed Kasuba, who worked for KYW News Radio in Philadelphia. I interned with him. I had broadcast journalism with him. And, if you want to put your head down on your pillow in your dorm room at night and worry about class the next day, that was the class to take. It was also a great class. About the second or third week of the class, if you had one mistake on your homework, it was a 0. So he really treated it like you were in a newsroom, like you were in a working environment, and he wanted no mistakes. He really took the journalism part of broadcast journalism to heart, which, as you guys see, a lot of the times nowadays, that word really doesn't ring true. It's more of get it out there first and be the first one to tweet it, instead of being right about something. And I don't know how many times I've seen something that was wrong, but it was just tweeted out because whoever wanted to have it first.
Yeah,
so,
we were actually just talking about that in our class last week.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
About a lot of misinformation just because people want to get it out there first.
AKA Carlos Gomez to the Mets.
Well, that was a little convoluted.
Right.
We don't know the real ins and outs of that, but yeah, that's a pretty good example.
Right.
And then after college, I worked for Major League Baseball Productions for a minute as a logger and an editor. Basically, I was getting paid to watch sports. I figured that was pretty cool, getting out of college and being able to watch sports and getting paid for it. I could be doing it at home and not getting paid for it, so that was pretty cool. After that, I coached my brother's baseball team, and my shortstop on that team, his aunt, was a director at CNBC, which was fast moving into MSNBC, and they had something that MLB Productions wasn't offering me, and that was benefits. So I took the job at MSNBC. There was no sports there, but I got a nice little news background. And as I told Ryan when he came to visit, yes, you can't really look a job horse in the mouth. You have to go and you have to get experience any way you can. And when I went to MSNBC and I spent 6 years there, I really learned a lot about the overall business. And I went, from the ground up, from a production assistant all the way to a sports producer. They got rid of sports in 1997, I believe. They did have it when I first got there in 96, but in 97, they got rid of it. So it was kind of a drag, but at the same time, I moved laterally onto the news side, and I learned a lot about being an associate producer, a producer, a tape producer. It wasn't a union shop, so you could go in, you could learn how to edit, you could ask people questions and actually put your hands on the equipment. MSNBC was a great springboard for when I left there and went to Yes. And hit the ground running at Yes. I made a lateral move to go there. It was actually kind of a backward step, but it's where I wanted to be. I grew up in the tri-state area. I grew up a fan of the Pinstripes, and to be in that position as an associate producer for the network that runs the Yankees, I thought it was a pretty good fit for me.
Right.
And 13 years later, here I am on the air and doing my thing, and couldn't be happier. So I hope that answered your question in a roundabout way. It could have been a lot longer, but I spared you guys a lot of
that was actually beautiful, and it worked our way up to our next question. So now that you said that you worked your way from the ground up, you took a little back step into Yes. What is it like now being an on-air talent for the Yes Network and working for the Yankees and the Nets?
It used to be where it was like a step back and pinch myself moment. It's not that anymore because you grow into that role, and if you sit there, keep pinching yourself. Is it still a dream? Absolutely. I'm not trying to throw cold water on that. But I think in order for you to grow in your position, you have to stop pinching yourself and say, I'm here. Now it's time to press forward and get to the next level.
Get to work. Yeah.
And, it's been 13 years. I've been on the air for a decade, which is kind of hard for me to say because I'm getting old. But the journey there has been another where, at MSNBC, I wasn't necessarily doing sports, but as I said, I was learning the business. And at Yes, baseball, I played it my whole life. I followed it my whole life. I still play to this day. And if I told you I didn't learn something on a daily basis, I'd be lying to you. That's why this sport is so beautiful, is because you're always learning constantly. You're always getting information that you're saying, I never thought about it like that before. There's so many ins and outs and, the minutia of it. You can get lost. Something I try not to get lost in is sabermetrics and statistics because, while they do help you in a lot of areas if you're a manager, I think they tend to hurt you as well because anything you put onto paper can't tell you anything about the human being that those numbers represent. There's no sabermetrics for being a human.
Yeah.
So that's where I tend to put that in the old waste paper basket.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So October baseball finally upon us, and I've told you this before. This Yankee team, I told you back when I visited, this team does not have a true identity. The wild card game is tomorrow. Does this team have a true identity? Because I'm still struggling to find that answer.
Well, listen, I mean, this is a team, Ryan, that, let's be honest, none of the experts picked this team to have over 80 wins or even sniff the playoffs. I'm talking about like 1,000 yards away from the kitchen, you don't know what's cooking. They were not supposed to be in this position. Now, could they be in a better position? Yes. But how many other teams go 47-19 down the stretch to win the Blue Jays clinched?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that was July 28th until they clinched the division. Think about that. 47-18. I mean, for any team to try to keep pace with that,
Right.
It's
Ridiculous.
unbelievable. So for the Yankees to be in the position there, and listen, they got a home game. They're the home team in the wild card. Now, did they back into the playoffs? Of course they did. Did they lose 6 of 7 to put themselves in a position where they had to see if the Astros lost to the Diamondbacks? Yes, they did. But they're in this position. They're facing a guy in Dallas Keuchel that is working on 3 days rest. But I say put that on a piece of paper, crumple it up, and throw it in the garbage.
Yep.
Because this guy, in 2 starts against the Yankees, take his splits, which are also awful on the road. He's undefeated at home, but he's awful on the road. Well, one of his 5 wins on the road is against the Yankees.
Yep.
One of his 2 wins since May 9th, I believe, on the road is against the Yankees. And guess where it happened? At Yankee Stadium. He's 27 years old. I looked these numbers up earlier today. CC Sabathia, he was 27 years old in 2008 when he was with the Brewers and throwing on 3 days rest. His record was 2-1 with a .83 ERA.
Jeez.
Throw that 3 days rest out the window. I don't care if he's never done it before. This is the playoffs. This is the big stage. Keuchel has said this. He's ready. He's ready to go. He's thrown 16 innings against the Yankees this year. 16.
Yep.
He's got 21 strikeouts and 1 walk and an ERA of 0.00.
He's unbelievable. The
He's
guy.
absolutely
If David Price didn't go off, this guy is without a doubt a AL Cy Young winner. Absolutely.
But you can't deny what Price has done with the Blue Jays either. And, you know, I talked to David Cohn about this. I talked to John Flaherty about this ad nauseum. And they both bring it up. I just kind of ask them, I want to get their input. And they tell me, you know, with a megaphone, it's not just what Price does in his starts. It's that attitude that Price brings in those
Right.
starts. It's go back to 2009. Go back to that Yankees rotation. Go back to CC Sabathia being the ace, A.J. Burnett, Andy Pettitte. No one wanted to drop that baton. Nobody wanted to be that starter that said, oh, it's my turn. They were so challenged by the top of the rotation to keep up that level that I think that's why the Yankees were so successful back in 2009. And look at Andy Pettitte. He won every clinching
Yep.
game in the playoffs, for crying out loud.
Yep.
So you take a guy like Price, you throw him into that Blue Jays rotation, you get guys like R.A. Dickey, who's never been to the playoffs. Marcus Stroman's never been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Marco Estrada has a cup of coffee in the playoffs, I think back in 2011 with the Astros.
Yep.
And who else? Burley, he has his postseason experience with the White Sox. But Price brings that swagger, that top of the rotation, top of the line ace, that kind of, I know you guys don't remember Ronald Reagan, you're way too young, but he talked about something about trickle-down economics. That's what Price brings. He brings that trickle-down swaggernomics.
Right.
That's a Chris Sheeran original. Don't be afraid to
Swaggernomics.
Hashtag that on Twitter.
I like that.
Swaggernomics. They should make a class about that. They'll start it rowing.
Let's start it rolling. Swaggernomics 101.
There you go. I'm going to be a professor.
All right, Chris. Now flipping to the managerial standpoint, a lot of people are going at Joe Girardi over the entire season. I want to know what your opinion on him is.
My dad used to tell me all the time, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. I really think that Joe Girardi in 2012, when they made the playoffs,
Right.
2013 and 2014 when they didn't make the playoffs, this team, everybody, I see everything on Twitter, and it's exactly right. This team could have gone to a 69-70 win team. Now, I know they didn't make the playoffs, but do you know how many injuries Girardi's had to deal with? In
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In 2013, it was the rotation. Last year, it was the lineup.
And the rotation as well.
And the rotation. You have to put that into perspective. And the Yankees were still above 500 both seasons. This guy, now I know everybody gives him a lot of stuff for the binder and this and that and the other thing, but this is another year. This is another year where they weren't supposed to do anything, and this guy has made chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. They're in the postseason. I don't care if it's just for one game. You know, a lot of Yankee fans, they sit there and they beat their chest, and it's the World Series or it's a failure. It's not the case. Look at the Yankees down the stretch in September. Who kept them afloat? A 21-year-old Luis Severino and a 22-year-old Greg Bird. I mean, who would have thought that going into the season? And I just had I did this for you guys because I was on the show with you tonight.
Thank you.
I had our research department come up with this. And a big thank you. I want to give props to Jeff Quagliata, who's the head of research at Yes, and he's at Yes to Research on the Twitter machine.
Yeah, Jeff does a phenomenal job.
You should give him a follow. And also Seth Rothman, who's in that department and put these numbers together for me. I thought about it this morning. I was like, you know what? I wonder how the team is with lefty starters, with Teixeira in the lineup and with Teixeira out of the lineup. And here are those numbers, guys. The Yankees have faced 50 lefty starters this season. 35 of those games, Mark Teixeira was in the lineup. Those starters in those games went 9-15 with a 5.16 ERA. The Yankees hit .260, and they hit 26 home runs.
Wow.
Okay, that's with him in the lineup in those 35 games. Now, less of a sample size. Without Teixeira, 15 games. Those lefty starters over those 15 games are 8-4 with a 3.56 ERA, and the Yankees have hit 6 home runs.
Wow.
So think about that for a second. Without Tex, that's what tells you the dynamic of what Mark Teixeira brings to this lineup.
Being that switch hitter, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it just takes so much away from Joe Girardi and what he's able to do and how he's able to mix and match that lineup. 3.56. So you're talking about almost a run, more than a run and a half off the ERA without Tex in that lineup.
Right. So, yeah, Teixeira arguably MVP. When you pull up those kind of numbers, Teixeira was probably the MVP of this Yankee season before he went down.
He was definitely up there in the conversation for sure, but you can't take away like what Josh Donaldson has done this year. That guy's an absolute beast.
Freak. Yeah, exactly. So now 2 questions into one kind of. We have to bring up CC Sabathia. Obviously, the big news is that he went into the alcohol rehab center today. How much does CC's absence hurt this team because he was pitching very well since he came off the disabled list? That, and with CC gone, assuming he would have been in the rotation, what should the Yankee rotation be if they make it past tomorrow night?
Well, first of all, I want to say kudos to CC.
Agreed.
For doing this and doing it now without, putting baseball first. He's
Agreed.
Putting his family first.
Absolutely.
All things aside, people on Twitter,
we've had this discussion before.
These are the days that Twitter should be thrown away because people don't realize, he's not a competitor. Yes, he is.
He is.
This is a guy who has, instead of saying, my knee's no good, I can't go anymore, put a brace on and went back out there and gave the Yankees an ERA of 2.11 over the starts he's been out there since he came back from the disabled list. Yep. I don't want to hear anything about him not being a competitor. This is bigger than baseball. This is bigger than a wild card game. This is bigger than playoff baseball. This is about a human being and his family wanting him to take care of business. So, having said that, kudos to CC Sabathia for entering this program and starting to get his life straight, because that's what's important. And you heard it in his statement today. He wants to get better so we can go back to enjoying the game that brings so much joy to his life. So, having said that, your other questions, What was the first one? I'm sorry, I forgot.
How CC hurts the team, and then what the rotation is going to look like.
It definitely hurts the team, and it's the point you brought up. And that is, he was pitching so well since coming off the DL. It does, in fact, hurt the team. It hurts the rotation because now, you might have to turn to a guy like Ivan Nova. You might have to turn to a guy like Michael Pineda. And I just worked the numbers on Pineda this morning for his last 2 starts. He faced the Red Sox and the Orioles, and his ERA is 10.24. Oh. And his batting average against is over 300. I think it was 311 or 321. I can't really remember. But either way, it's bad. Ivan Nova has not been good. Let's face it.
Yep.
Those two are huge disappointments. Now, I know Nova's coming back from the Tommy John. He gets a bit of a pass here. But as far as Pineda goes, I don't know what's going on with Pineda. Now, Nathan Eovaldi today threw a short 10-pitch bullpen, according to our buddy Chad Jennings over at Lowhud. Mm-hmm. He posted this. I want to give him credit. He threw a 10-pitch bullpen, and he faced hitters for the first time since being shut down with elbow inflammation in early September. He said there's no chance he could throw tomorrow, especially after going today, but he would assume for Kansas City if they made it. I just got done out there, so I don't know when I would be throwing next or what I need to do, but he threw 25 to 30 pitches today. He said he felt good. He just felt a little rusty. Other than that, it felt great. So that's positivity from Eovaldi. However, when can he go? When can he start? He still has to be stretched out. If the Yankees win tomorrow against the Astros, can you start Eovaldi in a game 3? I mean,
right.
What is that? Thursday, Friday, off Saturday, so that would be Sunday?
Right.
At Yankee Stadium. And what's today? Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, he'd be working on 6 days rest.
Mm-hmm.
But still, he only threw 25 to 30
right.
pitches today. So how much can you get out of him?
Right.
That's the thing you have to wonder about. And then if you do throw him out there, you're going to tax the bullpen. You're going to need to go to it early, and you know that. So basically, if the Yankees advance tomorrow, I think the best scenario for Eovaldi, Warren would have to come back into the rotation, and he's the only one I trust to go in the 3rd game.
Agreed.
Right now, actually, the 2nd game of the DS, because it would be Tanaka tomorrow, obviously. Then it would be Severino in game 1 of the DS, and then I would throw Warren in game 3. Then, if you want to put Eovaldi in the bullpen and stretch him out that way, if Warren gets into trouble, then you got something going on. But Warren's been back in the starting rotation, so if you wanted to start Eovaldi, there's that mix and match you could do there, the juxtaposition. But if you start Eovaldi, Kansas City's going to know he's not going to be out there long.
Right.
So that's the second part of the question you asked me. I would definitely go back to Adam Warren, and then based on what's been happening with Pineda and Nova, I don't know. Flip a coin. What do you guys think?
I don't know, because my thing is, I mean, it's basically proven that if Pineda's slider is not there, he's going to get tattooed.
Right.
Do you want to take that risk with him? Because we all heard in spring training, people were saying Pineda was one of the best pitchers in the American League during spring training. But if he doesn't have his off speed, he's done. So, I don't know. I mean, I agree 100% now. I was leaning toward Pineda starting game 2, but as soon as I saw him this week, Severino has to start game 1, of the DS. Severino has been unbelievable. And then
I don't care how old he is. He's got to start.
Yep.
So put that in the old pipe and smoke it. And also this tomorrow night. We're talking about something that might not even happen. I mean, they have to get by tomorrow,
right,
in order to even start to entertain those thoughts. And I saw earlier, Eric Cooper is the home plate umpire for the wild card game between the Yankees and Astros at the stadium tomorrow night. And I love doing this. I don't know why. I may be the only person that does this, but I check to see if the pitcher's been up there. But it's a pertinent point, because depending on if the umpire gives you corners, whatnot, it does make a difference. And Keuchel has 4 starts. Tanaka doesn't have a single start with Cooper back there. So this will be Tanaka's first start. He doesn't know, how to...
He doesn't know a strike zone.
Right. So Keuchel does. He's 1-2 in 4 starts. And There were 3 starts before this year, and I think his ERA is up around 6 in those starts.
Wow.
His 4th start, his one win was his start at Yankee Stadium, where he spanned 9 over 7.
Wow.
Okay.
So put that into the old blender too, and when you're watching it tomorrow, just remember that your Uncle Chris told you that Eric Cooper's behind the dish, and Keuchel had some success not too long ago with Cooper back there.
We're going to the game tomorrow. We're going to be telling people, Chris told us this. We're going to tell our whole section tomorrow.
Well, do yourselves a favor and don't say it if the Yankees are losing, because I don't need the hate on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Good. All right, you got it. Deal.
So, Chris, what's your prediction for tomorrow night? What do you think?
You know what? Here.
That doesn't sound too good.
Here's what I think, and you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, and that's what I've been taught to do my whole life.
I'm the optimistic Yankee fan. Ryan isn't. You're very pessimistic.
We'll talk about that another day.
Well, Ryan and I are in the same boat then. But here's what I posted on Facebook, and then you guys could debate me. Ryan, obviously, you're going to agree with me. The Yankees are in. I don't know what camp you fall under. The beat your chest, we have to win the World Series every year. Or we are failures camp. Or the people who like to live in a little place I call reality and are and should be happy that even though it's a 1 in a million chance, the Yankees have a chance. Mm-hmm. Do I feel like they're going to magically remember how to hit against a left-handed 20-game winner? Don't bring up 3 days rest either. 16 innings, 21 Ks, 1 walk, 0.00 ERA, and 2 starts for Keuchel against the Bombers. I think, and you're not... Ryan, who's your co-host's name? I'm sorry.
Scott.
Scott. You're not going to like this, Scott.
All right.
I think they are one and done, but they are in a better spot than they were in 2013 and 2014.
Yep. Yeah.
They are at least in it. A team that was predicted to win under 80 games and not even think about getting into the playoffs.
Yep.
So here's what we have, Scott, okay? Here's the thing to be positive about. Tomorrow night, Yankee fans have the opportunity to watch their team in a playoff game with a chance to head to Kansas City and shock the American League. And guess what? Mr. Negativity is saying if they do get by Keuchel, if Keuchel lays an egg, the Yankees can beat the Royals, and you could see the New York Yankees in the ALCS. I'm not saying they're going to beat either the Rangers or the Blue Jays, but if they get by this one game, they could be playing in the ALCS.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know about you two. I'm sorry, Scott,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
I don't know about you two, but I consider this season a success.
I do.
It is.
I do.
How could it not be?
And I'm not one of those World Series or
27.
World Series or bust people. I live in reality. I'm just optimistic for a win. I have a stat right here. Carlos Beltran has been hitting very well.
Yes.
Is batting .444 against Keuchel in 9 at-bats with a home run. So, maybe.
Well, you better hope there's 2 on, and it's the second inning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm optimistic.
With no outs.
Yeah, and this is another thing, guys, and in all honesty and in all sincerity, all kidding aside, Masahiro Tanaka cannot go out there in the first inning and give up a 3 spot.
Yep.
You can't.
Oh.
Momentum has to swing early. That's going to be the win of the game right there. I think whoever scores first, boom.
He's got to go out, and he's got to hold the Astros. Remember, when Tanaka pitched against them earlier in the season in Houston, he gave up gopher balls to Chris Carter, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. These guys are not patsies. They can hit.
No.
They can hit. They know how to play the game. They wouldn't be in this position. They wouldn't have improved by 16 games this season if they didn't know how to play the game of baseball. A.J. Hinch has done a tremendous job with the Houston Astros. You know, Yankee fans thinking that you can't just beat your chest and say, yeah, we got it, we'll be in Kansas City on Thursday. No, this Houston team is a threat. Mm-hmm. It's a threat, and if you think they're panicking about having to go to New York despite their awful road record, did you see them celebrating last night? It really seemed to phase praise them.
No, not at all. And they're young players. They love this. They love the postseason. So
they've got nothing to lose. This is a team that lost 100 or more 3 straight seasons.
111 2 years ago.
3 straight seasons, and now they're in the wild card game. They're playing with house money.
Exactly.
House money, and before this is over, because I don't know when you guys are going to let me go, because I could talk forever. Ryan knows that.
Soon. Please hurry up.
Ryan Cashman takes a lot of mudslinging here and there, and that's to put it lightly. But I have to give the guy credit where credit is due.
Yep.
He could have went and made a move at the deadline, got rid of Severino, got rid of Bird, got rid of another prospect. This is the question I pose to every Yankee fan out there in Ramapo land and beyond. Would you rather win one World Series this year, once again, trading away the future, or do you want to have another core of players have a shot this year, albeit a 1 in a million shot, but as Jim Carrey said in Dumb and Dumber,
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Okay? Or would you rather have that core, and I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's going to be Russ Snyder. I don't know if he's your everyday second baseman in the future. I don't know if it's probably Severino. It's probably Bird. Judge is on the way. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
When Carlos Beltran is off this roster, Aaron Judge is your right fielder.
Yep, exactly.
So those 3 definitely are going to be the new core. Would you rather have them go at it for a decade, or would you rather have made a stupid trade at the deadline and gone after one World Series this year?
Which isn't even guaranteed, might I add. World Series.
That's the rational reality Yankee fan that I have grown into. I used to be that pound my chest, we have to win every year. You get older, you get more mature, you tend to think a little clearly, you tend to think a little bit more rationally. This is what you do.
Exactly.
So guys, when you reach 42, when you reach my age, you'll say, you know what, the old guy was right. And when you're 42, I'm going to be a hell of a lot older, so I really don't want to think about that right now.
Chris, thank you very much for coming on. That's Chris Sheeran of the Yes Network. Are you going to Elm Street Diner right now?
I am not, but the next time you come up, I will tell John you gave him a pop on the air, and he'll probably give you something for nothing.
Like that. Sweet.
Love it.
Elm Street Diner, Scott? Wow.
You're taking me.
I'll take you.
All right.
Ryan and Scott, just let me say thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to show my personality and have a little fun talking about the sport that I love. So thank you very much for having me on, guys.
Thank you for coming on. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, take care. That was Chris Sheeran of the Yes Network. You can check out his podcast, Chris Sheeran Show, at yesnetwork.com. That guy knows what he's talking about. He's been covering the Yankees for a very long time. So listen to what he has to say. You heard the numbers that he crunched. That's all the guy does. He's number happy. That's how Chris is. I've known him for a little while, and he's very smart. He's good at what he does. Listen to what he just said.
Great guy. Great guy. I love him. He's giving us good of his father's wisdom.
What did he say? You can't make chicken
salad out of chicken. You know what?
That was a good one. Scotty T, it's 6:44. I didn't realize we were going to be on that.
I'm going to do this real quick.
Go ahead with the updates.
All right, Rampo updates. Rowan blanked the men's soccer team on Saturday 3-0 in an NJAC conference matchup. The Roadrunners now fall to 5-5-2, and they are 0-3-1 in conference play. They will return to action on Saturday against Rutgers Camden at 1 p.m. That is an away game. Women's volleyball, the Roadrunner Invitational, was held at the Bradley Center this weekend, and the home team did not disappoint. The Roadrunners won all 3 of their matches, facing Hunter College, Brooklyn College, and Cortland. They improved to 11-5 on the season, and they will take on Kane University tomorrow at the Bradley Center at 7 p.m. Men's cross country placed 14th overall at the Paul Short Invitational on Friday, hosted by Lehigh University. Senior Paul Julis finished 17th overall, while rookie Matt Toohey finished just 6 seconds later, placing 29th overall. The next race will be held in Sewell, New Jersey for the Interregional Border Battle, hosted by Rowan University. Now on to pro updates. Big news this morning for the Yankees. We've been saying all along, CeCe Sabathia checked himself in the rehab for alcohol addiction. He said, "It hurts me deeply to do this now, but I owe it to my family to get myself right. I want to take control of my disease, and I want to be a better man, father, and player. The Yanks will now play for CC, as A-Rod stated. Tomorrow night in the Bronx, they will take on the Astros in the AL wildcard game. Keuchel, Tanaka on the mound, going to be a great matchup. The Mets got no hit on Saturday against Max Scherzer, but it didn't matter because they are focused on this NLDS matchup against the LA Dodgers starting this Friday, the 9th, in LA. We do not know, however, who will be taking the mound for the Mets in the first game, but it is evident that Kershaw will get the ball for Game 1 for the Dodgers. On to the NFL. The Giants left Buffalo triumphant yesterday, defeating Rex Ryan's Bills 24-10. Nail in the coffin was set by Rashad Jennings' 51-yard TD run midway through the fourth to secure the W. Eli Manning finished with 212 yards and 3 TDs, one to Ruben Randle, one to Dwayne Harris. The G-Men will take on the Niners at MetLife next Sunday in the Sunday Night Football matchup at 8:30 p.m. Going overseas to London, it was a beautiful day at Wembley Stadium for American football as the New York Jets defeated the Dolphins 27-14. Chris Ivory was the star of the game after not playing last week. He posted a beautiful stat line of 166 yards on 29 carries with a TD. Brandon Marshall also did well, catching 7 passes for 128 yards. The Jets have a bye this week, but they will take on the Skins the 18th at MetLife Stadium. Listening to Beasts of the East on WRPR 90.3 FM. Ryan Mork, Scott Thompson. We'll be back right after this.
Base of the week.
Base of the week.
We should do that all the time in Australia now. Jason Day.
Jason Day.
Jason Day.
Too bad the PGA Tour's over as of now.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth with an incredible. He was my base of the week last week.
Beast of the East. Who wants to go first?
Beast of the week.
Beast of the Week. Sorry.
We really should
It's
call it
hard.
another name.
No, I love Beast of the Week. It just works. It works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
My Beast of the East. Oh, whoops. I meant week.
I'm going to go first.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to go with Chris Ivory of the Jets. They missed him a lot last week in that loss against the Eagles. But this week he bounced back, had a great week against the Dolphins, as I was saying in the updates before. Chris Ivory ran for 166 yards and 29 carries. Touchdown. Chris Ivory proving people wrong about himself being just a mediocre running back. He's having a great year. Brian, your Beast of the Week.
My Beast of the week should be Chris Sheeran. That's the man.
That guy was great.
He's
Shout out to
awesome.
Chris
I'm
Sheeran
telling you,
again.
if you call to yes with me,
What do you mean if? It's not an
true,
if.
true. This is annoying. I'm just gonna hold it right
Hold it.
there. This aux cord. We gotta get a new aux cord. But my Beast of the week, Max Scherzer, simple, no hitter, 18 strikeouts, probably the best pitching performance ever. Legit.
That was great. And I was at work and I was looking up, and every time it's just buckling players, just
Yeah.
overpowering players, buckling their knees.
I've never seen him that pumped before. And when you think about it, think of how close he was to 2 perfect games.
Yeah.
Because the no-hitter in the summer, the guy leaned into it. That should have been a perfect game.
Yeah.
And then 1 error on Saturday. 1 error and 1
I would hate to
pitch.
be Escobar, by the way.
Yeah,
I would hate that. I've actually my brother was throwing a perfect game, and the guy that I work with, I was telling you about, Richie, does a good Francesa impression. He made it.
Severino!
Tanaka, you pitched Tanaka first game. No, anyway, he gave up an error, and my brother threw a no hitter instead of a perfect game.
That's the worst. I threw 3 no-hitters in my Little League career. Because, like, when I was in Little League, I was gross. But then I hit my peak when I was 12 years old. So,
Yeah, I hit my peak when I was like 16.
yeah.
I
So,
threw shutouts, though. I never threw no hitters.
Yeah, I had 3 no-hitters. My first one, 18 strikeouts. Keep in mind, 6 innings.
That's because you were probably like 5'2", while
5'4".
I was like 4 foot.
I was 5'4", 10 years old.
Actually scared
So
of you.
18 strikeouts. No one got on base on me. Well, I walked a couple of guys. Second no-hitter was later that year, 16 strikeouts. Both putouts were to me. Third no-hitter was 2 years after that. I let up a couple of errors and a couple of walks, and I actually let up a run. So, but 3 no-hitters for me. Not bad.
Not too bad. I've never thrown one, so you got me beat there.
No. All right.
Got me beat.
I want to play some like Princess on my laptop, but I don't feel like bringing my laptop all the way
No.
over there. Use your nougat.
Use your nougat.
Use your nougat. Roger Clemens is in Georgia.
Put my mic on.
Put my mic on.
Anyway.
All right, so let's talk about the New York Giants really quickly. We did a
Limited
lot
time we have left.
Yeah, we got about 7 minutes left.
Jeez.
So New York Giants, we both said, well,
No.
legitimate. Did you really think the Giants are going to win?
Yeah,
Really?
I absolutely did.
All right, well, you're an outsider. Most people with football knowledge said that.
Yeah, I
this
don't
was,
have any football now.
No. Most people said Bills win easily.
Okay.
The Giants were not supposed to win this football game. You knew their running game was going to be bad, and it pretty much was, besides the Jennings touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really mad because I told my dad, I was like, we're sitting Jennings this week in fantasy, and then, of course, one touchdown. But that's just besides the point. Running game, we knew it wasn't going to show up besides that touchdown. And you know what? Eli Manning has played in 4 games. He has not thrown an interception yet. And Eli's the type of quarterback, a lot of his interceptions are his receivers' faults. And now, and you said it before when we were off the air, I believe, he's targeting everybody.
Everyone.
Randall, Odell, Donnell, Fells went before he got hurt. Now he's on the season.
Dwayne Harris had 5 catches yesterday. It's amazing, and I love it because it's not just Odell Beckham Jr. That he had to rely on at the end of the season last year because he was breaking those rookie records and everything.
Broke another one yesterday.
Of course, why wouldn't he? Anyway,
Exactly.
That it's great how he's bringing everyone in, even using Rashad Jennings, using Shane Vereen. I love that this team is starting to come together after those 2 losses.
Yep.
They're coming together, going into Buffalo against Rex Ryan, not supposed to win this game, and a big part of that was they shut down Carlos Williams.
Yep.
Shut him down hard. I mean, yeah, he had that one touchdown, great throw by Taylor. But
Covered by a linebacker, but
he had 40 yards rushing.
yep.
And everyone looked at him going 90 or higher.
Yep.
That was a great job by those linebackers. John Beasley was back. John Beasley was pumped yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And that trickled down to everybody else. Devin Kennard with the interception, so that was a great job.
Tom Coughlin said yesterday that this team is playing with a big head on their shoulders for whatever. They know they have the chance to win because the Cowboys are playing their practice squad.
They're tied for first right now. The only reason, the Cowboys are in first is because they beat them week 1. But
Yep. 12 games
going forward,
12
Giants
games
don't look
left. And now,
favored.
next week, the Giants are going to be the favorites against San Fran. Then they're at Philly. That game can go either way, but right now the Eagles just look flat out terrible. And then they're home against Dallas. You know they're going to be pumped up for that game because odds are that's probably going to be a battle for first place. And then they're in New Orleans, which no one seems to win there anymore. The Saints can't seem to win there anymore.
Last night, you saw that play
except for last night. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But with Dallas healthy, Dallas probably wins that football game. And then I think they have the bye week after that. And then they played the Jets later on in this season. The 4th year. The 4th year. I'm not saying the Giants win the Super Bowl. That was.
But if you look at their schedule right now, at the latter half of their schedule, Skins, Jets, Dolphins, Panthers.
A lot of games that they want to win rather than knowing that they're going to need to win. You got the Battle of New York. You beat Rex Ryan yesterday. You have a ton of division games left. 1 against Philly.
2 against Philly.
2 against Philly. 1 against Dallas. 1 against Washington. Games that you want to win.
And against good teams. And I like that it's against good teams because that's if you can beat them, hey, blow up their head even more. Go ahead.
Yep. And you know what? Is the division probably different if the Cowboys are healthy?
Yeah.
Absolutely. They have Brandon Weeden right now. Their number 1 is Terrence Williams.
Brandon Weeden's not that bad.
No, he's not.
Let's say he was a start. No, he's not Tony Romo at all.
Right.
But he was a starter with them.
And now Lance Dunbar's hurt. Shane Gregory's hurt. McClain is hurt. The other McClain is hurt. Everyone on that team
Is Joseph Randall hurt?
No.
Or he just didn't get the ball yesterday at all?
I didn't really watch the game, to be completely honest.
He got the
with you.
ball in the first quarter, then just nothing since.
Yeah, no. I didn't really watch the game. But yeah, big win for the Giants. Now they have a lot of momentum. Cowboys are playing New England next week. Giants are facing San Fran this week. San Fran stinks. The Giants can be in sole possession of first place next week after
Stephen A.
starting
Smith
0-2.
is saying the Niners want to go back in time and take Jim Harbaugh back because this team is greatly missing them.
Hail to the victors, 18th in the country. Keep it up, boys. I like it. And next year, Michigan's going to be awesome. They have the number 1 recruiting class for next year, and it all starts with their O-line.
Yeah, Michigan football is definitely
They're
good.
going to be
Love
on the
themselves next
come up.
year.
They're going to
and
be on
that
the
is
come
because
up.
of Harbaugh. That's absolutely because of Harbaugh. But anyway,
Now, moving teams, we usually, if you guys can't figure this out, we try to get everything done as quickly as possible. So enough Giants talk. Jets really quickly. Nice win overseas. Miami, once again, pretenders to say the absolute least. I expected them to play very well. And
do you want to know
they
what
haven't.
is hilarious?
Yeah,
I completely forgot Ndamukong Suh played for the Dolphins. I completely forgot.
He's been unbelievably bad.
They didn't bring up his name yesterday. I had to figure it out in the
Except
third.
when he kicked off Ryan Fitzpatrick's helmet.
Yeah, in the third quarter when I saw everyone walking back to the line, I saw his name.
So yeah, Jets are 3-1. So, it's not plugged in. Never mind. Hopefully you heard that horn.
Oh, I heard that actually pretty loud.
All right, good.
But yeah, Jets 3-1, Giants 2-2 coming back. New York football.
New York sports, man. Giants and Jets.
That December
good.
6th matchup is going to be a lot
Mets
of fun.
in the postseason, and to make things even better, Friday. Hockey season, baby.
I love hockey. It's my favorite sport.
Why don't people like it?
It is the most fun sport to watch. If you've never gone to a hockey game, don't talk to me.
Why don't people like it?
All right. I mean, a lot of it comes from what they grew up on. I mean, I was spoiled because my cousin was a big hockey junkie for some reason. So I was 4 years old watching Doc Emmerich call the Devils, by the way. That's how I got into it. I used to watch him instead of. But anyway, I used to go to Devils games all the time. I still do. I still go to at least 4 or 5 a year. And it helped that my friend plays hockey at a big hockey program, so I've been always watching hockey.
You know I'm supposed to be a Ranger fan?
Supposed to be?
My dad.
Never supposed to be. It's always about you, man.
My dad. Because I grew up
Your dad's
for
a big
whatever
Ranger fan?
My dad had season tickets for the Rangers for years.
He gave 'em up?
He gave up on the Rangers.
Oh.
1989. The Rangers just couldn't win. They were good, but they never knew how to finish. Because in 1940, the whole big thing, they didn't win the Stanley Cup for 54 years. They couldn't finish. Devils were the new team in town, 7 years old. John McClain sent them to the playoffs. My dad said, I'm a Devil fan. Me, my brother, and my dad are the only Devil fans in my entire family.
And that's why I was a Devils fan, too, actually, going to that. Scott Gomez, Scott Niedermayer, and Scott Stevens were all on the team. Scott, I had to go with my Scots.
You know who my favorite Devil used to be? Alexander McGillney.
I don't even know who that is.
What?
I don't. Jason Arnott was my favorite.
Jason Arnott with the game-winning overtime. Oh, man, Jason Arnott. No,
I love hockey, man.
McGillney was up there. Cam Jansen used to be the man back in the day. Who else was solid?
See, that's the thing.
Oleg Tverdovsky. Jeff Friesen.
That's the thing. People missed hockey. John Madden played. John Madden was great.
John Madden was my first Devil jersey.
People missed good hockey. I mean, obviously not. I mean, if you watch hockey now, hockey's great. But I grew up on watching good Devils hockey.
Yeah, and I just don't get why it's not popular. I don't get it.
I don't know.
Non-stop action. You have contact.
You love it.
People always complain about baseball. Oh my God, there's no contact. It's this. You stand around for 3 hours. But then you're giving them a hockey game. The rink's too small. Okay. Excuse me. And then you put on a football game where
I think people are mad because they can't ice skate. It's hard.
That's got to be. I mean, I get it's not like an American sport.
I don't care.
Soccer. Here we are out on the pitch. It's 0-0. It's been 0-0 for 8 months out on the soccer pitch. And here we are out for a tremendous game here in the FIFA World Cup. Shut up. That was rough.
That was pretty rough. That was off the cuff, though.
Low key.
Anyway.
Maybe high key.
You have a closing thought? What are you thinking about?
I would have a closing thought, but it is 7:02.
I don't care. I'm still got to close the show. I have a closing thought.
My closing thought, let's go Yankees. That's it. I'm being optimistic. I think that they can hit Dallas Keuchel. I think that Masahiro Tanaka can throw a good game when he has to, because that's what he's done the last couple of starts.
Carlos Beltran, 3 for 4 tomorrow night.
Greg
right?
Bird, 5 for 5, 6 home runs. What?
All right.
Oh, I gotta plug this in.
Duh.
But yeah, I'm confident in the Yankees tomorrow. I am. I think they can do well.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Well, I have a closing thought real quick.
Real quick.
I was talking about my friend Connor Clifton and Timmy Clifton, both at Quinnipiac University, ice hockey. Played an exhibition last night. They both scored.
Wow.
They both scored. Connor didn't score all last year, and he said he'll score 10 goals this year. And Timmy coming off of a great, great year, starting off right. It's my boys.
Boy, thank you very much for tuning in to Beasts of the East. We're 3 minutes overdue. We really went all
Don't
about
care.
hockey.
Chris Sheeran, thank you so much for being on. You took up a great 35 minutes of my life. And I loved it. That was a lot of fun.
Chris Shear, thank you very much. Check out his podcast on theyesnetwork.com. Scott and I will be at the game tomorrow. And then I don't know how we're going to do our interview with Bald Vinny on Wednesday because our voices will be hoarse. But Wednesday night, Bald Vinny Milano, the leader of the Section 203 Bleacher Creatures, is coming on the show. We're excited for that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not goodbye here. See you later. See you all on Wednesday. So long and take care.
Let's go,
everybody.
Yankees.
Go Yankees. 27-27.